Did you know that our mind has gas stations? Once, while speaking for a Young Innovators conference, I was seriously intimidated by the speaker lineup. It was Hollywood actors, NBA stars, music producers, and me. With a packed auditorium, I poured everything into my speech about how the best investment you can make is to invest in yourself. After I spoke, people were telling me how much I inspired them and they were asking for my advice. I was living my dream. When I arrived at the United States, the only job I was able to get was as a bag boy in a supermarket. I did eventually become the general manager, but that quickly got boring. So I became a marketing assistant. And that one got boring too, so I jumped into photography. As that pattern repeated itself over the course of 3 years, I decided that the problem was the city I was living in. So I moved to a new city, carrying with me the heavy weight of all of my self inflicted failures, tired of navigating a new country, speaking a non native language, missing my family, my friends. I was hopeful that this new city was going to help me work towards my dreams, but I couldn't find any jobs. So I decided to become an Uber driver. Once I got the approval, I headed to my car to start driving. I ended up looking for my car for 2 hours until finally reality hit me. My car had been stolen, along with every single last hope I had of achieving my dream. How was I supposed to make money now? What was the purpose of trying if I kept running into failure after failure? Although I did study what depression was in college, I never completely understood the burden of it until that day. I had no jobs, no money, no car, and definitely no desire to pursue my dream. But in the back of my mind, my dreams still linger. I wanted to share my knowledge and help people improve their lives and enjoy them to the fullest. And I just kept asking myself, if I knew I needed these jobs to survive and pursue my dream, why was it so hard for me to stay consistent? So I decided to dive into the brain science behind this problem. 5 years, 17 clinical studies, and 231 books later, here's what I discovered. When we start a task, our brain produces norepinephrine, which is what we call adrenaline when it's inside the brain. Norepinephrine agitates our brain enough to get us started on an activity. It gives us that initial push that propels us into action. But here's the problem. While we're doing the activity, norepinephrine keeps rising. And if it gets too high, it will agitate us so much that we will feel anxiety and discomfort, making us stop or quit the activity. So even though norepinephrine is what we need to start, it's also what tells us to stop. So here's where dopamine comes in. Dopamine is another neurotransmitter that serves as a buffer for norepinephrine. Dopamine takes norepinephrine and pushes it back down enough so we can keep doing the activity. But the activity has to be something that we enjoy, something novel or new, or something that gives us a reward or a milestone while doing it. Picture a world championship soccer game. Both teams are exhausted. They have been running for 90 minutes straight. Then suddenly, one team scores a goal to win the game. The winning team is screaming, jumping, celebrating, running faster than they were the whole last half. Where was all of this energy and motivation just a couple of minutes ago? Well, it was always there, but norepinephrine was limiting how much access they had to that energy. So when they got the reward of winning the game, dopamine came in and buffered away norepinephrine, allowing them to tap into that energy. Huh. So what about discipline-based tasks? They're boring, repetitive, and basically offer no dopamine on their own. So if we need these tasks and activities in order to achieve our goals, how can we stay disciplined and do them for as long as we must? We do this by hacking our brain's dopamine reward system using self-directed neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the capacity that our brain has to mold to our environment, maximizing the chances of our survival. Self-directed neuroplasticity is when we decide how to mold our brain, and instead of surviving, we can thrive. In this case, we're changing when our brain releases dopamine, making it easier for us to stay disciplined. After trying different strategies over the past 5 years, I learned the three most simple and effective ways to do this. Number one, mini milestones. Mini milestones are the breakdown of a goal into achievable steps. I once opened a commercial cleaning business, and at the beginning there was only one employee, me. I had to do all the cleaning for all the accounts. And to think that I once got bored of being a photographer, well, cleaning toilets wasn't exactly the highlight of my life. To get through the grueling work, I will break down months into weeks, weeks into days, and days into mini tasks. I will do the bathroom first, then I will do the vacuuming, then I will do the mopping. By accomplishing things little by little, the amount of work didn't seem so tall anymore. But why does this work? When we set small milestones for ourselves, we get a dopamine hit every time we complete one, which helps us keep on going. Number two, visual cues. Visual cues are visual markers for reaching milestones. I brought a list with me to every business I cleaned, and every time I will complete a task, I will scratch it off my list. Cleaning upstairs bathroom, check. Taking out the trash, check. I could literally see my progress being represented in my notebook. When we give ourselves visual reminders of how much work we have completed, our brain understands that progress has been made, which makes it easier for dopamine to be present. Number three, perceptions. Perceptions are when we tell our brain how to feel about the activity we're doing. Everything that we deem pleasurable or not is because we have formulated opinions about it. Some people try spicy food and say, ouch, that hurts, I don't want to try it again. And some people try it and say, ouch, that hurt, but I had fun. When we form an opinion, our brain seeks evidence to validate it. So if we find a task or activity boring, we can change our perception about it by forming new opinions, and our brain will find evidence to support it. When we find an activity pleasurable, we make it easier for dopamine to be present. And look, if I was able to change my perception about cleaning toilets, I promise you we can do this for literally anything. And if you're wondering if these simple strategies worked, well, I'm here today, aren't I? The brain is the computer, and we are the programmer. We can code the software however we want. Today, I want to leave you with three simple questions I ask my clients to help them get through boring yet necessary work. Number one, how can we break the activity into mini milestones? What visual tools can we use to measure progress? Number three, what opinions can we form about the activity that will change its perception for the better? When we reward the effort process, achieving our goals and our dreams are just a byproduct of our daily efforts. Thank you.